If you're a waterfall chaser, this video is for you. Today, I want to share my favorite national parks to visit if you love waterfalls. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger and the founder of dirtinmyshoes, and I am in the parks all the time. I also absolutely love waterfalls. Aren't they so magical? There is nothing better than hiking through the mountains or the trees to get to a gorgeous waterfall, feeling the mist on your face. That's just the best hike you can do. So today I want to talk to you about my favorite national parks for seeing waterfalls. There are 6 of them, and not all of these parks require hikes to see their gorgeous waterfalls. Some do, and some will reward you for those harder hiking trails. But I want to share things that anyone can enjoy in these national parks. So let's jump in with my #1 favorite national park for waterfalls. Number 1 is Yosemite National Park in California. This national park is high in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. You'll find it right here. There is no other national park in the country that can compete with Yosemite for the tallest, most sheer dropping waterfalls. It is incredible. So from Yosemite Valley, as you're coming into the valley, you're looking at the mountains, you can see some very big waterfalls from the valley. And so it's just absolutely spectacular. The tallest waterfall in the valley is Yosemite Falls. That includes Upper Yosemite Fall, the Middle Cascades, and Lower Fall. And that is over 2,000 feet long. So it's crazy. It just drops from those sheer granite cliffs down into the valley below. So this one, you can take an easy hike to the lower fall. You can go on a harder hike up to the upper fall. Either way, make sure you catch a glimpse of this waterfall while you're here. Some of my other favorites is if you hike the Mist Trail, which is amazing. It is so great. You will go past both Vernal and Nevada Fall if you do the whole thing. And as you're hiking, you will get misted by the waterfall as you go up the side of it if you visit during the right time. That is one thing about Yosemite, that if you are chasing waterfalls, you need to pay attention to when you are in this park because the waterfalls do dry up as the season goes on. So if you're here specifically for waterfalls, I like to aim for about the end of May. That will give you peak flow in the waterfalls, and also hopefully, crossing our fingers, that the upper roads are also open at that time. So like the Tioga Road, the Glacier Point Road, those are more seasonal roads that don't open until they're able to clear them of snow. And so if you go too early, you will see waterfalls, but you won't be able to get on those roads. I find typically like the end of May into June, maybe like mid-June, usually you still get really good flow in the waterfalls and a better chance of those roads being open. Okay, park number 2 is Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee and North Carolina. Looking at the map here, Great Smoky Mountains is right over here on the Tennessee-North Carolina border, so you can access the park from either state. This national park is in quite a big contrast to Yosemite, where you're not getting like really huge, massive waterfalls, but you're getting more of that idyllic, like mountain setting, peaceful streams, lots of trees, lots of quiet if you can find it. Speaking of, I do have itineraries for most of these parks I'm talking about. So if finding quiet is important to you, go get one of those itineraries. I will link it in the video description below, or you can go to dirtinmyshoes.com. But that will help with the crowds because believe me, I am always trying to avoid the crowds as much as I can. So that's especially important here at Great Smokies because it is the nation's most visited national park. It does get really busy, but you can find pockets of quiet. And as you're sitting by the water, as you're watching the waterfalls flow, there just really isn't a more peaceful, beautiful setting. This park has sheer number going for it because there are a lot of waterfalls in this national park. Some of my favorites are Abrams Falls. That one requires a hike. You've got Grotto Falls, which is really fun. That one's a hike as well, but you can walk behind it. So that's always a fun adventure. You've got Laurel Falls, which is a really family-friendly hike you can do. Rainbow Falls. That's a little bit longer, but it's absolutely beautiful. And then there's a couple of other areas that are a little bit easier to get to, some of the beautiful waterfalls there. I really like the Deep Creek area of Great Smoky Mountains. You've got Ramsey Cascades, you've got the sinks, you've got so many different options. So if you want to see a beautiful waterfall, and if you want to be in that, again, just that really peaceful, beautiful mountain setting, Great Smoky Mountains is the national park for you. Okay, park number 3, Olympic National Park in Washington State. Olympic National Park is found on the Olympic Peninsula right here. It's right across the sound from Seattle, so it's fairly easy to get to, but you will feel like you are on a different planet. Olympic National Park is so diverse. You can be at the beach 1 hour, at the lake the next hour, and up in the mountains the hour after that. So it's pretty crazy how much you can do in this national park. But this one makes my list of my favorite national parks for waterfalls because I just feel like because of this diversity and like the different ecosystems and things that you'll find in this park, it feels so magical. And the waterfalls here play into that because they feel like you're exploring a fairy forest or something along those lines. And it's just, the lighting is soft. You've got ferns and trees and all sorts of vegetation around you. And then these gorgeous waterfalls. You need to go to Solduck Falls while you're here. It's a short family-friendly hike where you can see this gorgeous waterfall dropping into the ravine in 3 or 4 different sections depending on water flows. Another favorite is Marymere Falls, which again is just like a really nice family-friendly hike. You can follow the stream, cross a couple bridges, and get up to this beautiful waterfall. Another favorite in this park is Madison Falls. Madison Falls does not require much of a hike at all. It's just a really short walk to the base of these falls, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So some really good waterfalls in Olympic, and you'll feel like you're in a magical fairy forest. Okay, park number 4 is Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. Yellowstone is here in this very corner of Wyoming, right there in the top. And this is a very famous national park. So we're going to talk about why I love it for waterfalls. Most people, when they think of Yellowstone, they're thinking geysers or wildlife, which is all true. But you're not usually thinking waterfalls. You are thinking water because those geysers and hot pots and all the steam and everything that goes along with Yellowstone. But Yellowstone actually has a ton of waterfalls. And the reason that I love Yellowstone for waterfalls is because these waterfalls typically are very easy to get to. There are a lot that you can see along the roadside just with a quick parking job and getting out and walking for a few minutes to see these. If you want longer hikes, you can do that too. But as far as ease and accessibility, Yellowstone is the park to go to for waterfalls. So for my favorite roadside waterfalls in Yellowstone, we've got Tower Fall, which is over 130 feet tall, and it just drops into this gorgeous ravine. You've got Gibbon Falls, which is just right alongside the road as you're driving from Madison. You've got Kepler Cascades, another roadside one. You've got the brink of the Upper Falls in the canyon area of Yellowstone, which has some great waterfalls. The Upper Falls is gorgeous, and to walk to the top of it is very easy. In that same area, you've got the Lower Falls, which is the more famous waterfall in Yellowstone. That one you can see from Artist Point, but also if you want to hike to the top of that, I highly recommend it. That's a really cool hike, fairly steep, but you can get to the top of the Lower Falls and see the brink where they drop over the cliff to the ravine below. You've also got Fairy Falls, Mystic Falls, Firehole Falls. So again, just like so many waterfalls in Yellowstone, Like I said, a lot of people don't think of waterfalls when you think of Yellowstone, but there's a bunch and it's really fun, really cool. And a lot of these you can just see as you drive. Some of them you can hike to and get a little bit more solitude. Yellowstone, again, like Smokies, is another park where you're going to want to have a great plan, because if you don't, you will not be able to get parking and you will get stuck in the crowds. I hated Yellowstone for a long time because it just always felt so busy and crowded to me until I figured out how to do it right. And now we're there almost yearly, sometimes even more than once a year. We love Yellowstone so much because we know how to do it right. So head over to Dirt in My Shoes and grab a Yellowstone itinerary if you want help with your schedule and a really good plan while you're there. And I'll make sure you hit a lot of those waterfalls as well. Park number 5, Glacier National Park in Montana. This one is all the way at the top of Montana right here, and we are deep in the mountains and in glacier country. Because you're in glacier country, that means your waterfalls are going to look a little bit different here in this park, and that's why I love the waterfalls in Glacier National Park. You get some interesting colors, like at St. Mary Falls, you can get this really deep, gorgeous blue, and that is from all the glacial silt that is coming off the glaciers higher in the mountains. It changes the color of the water. So the water in this park is so beautiful. There are so many good waterfalls in this national park, so I can name a few here, but there are definitely more than what I name. So we really like Bird Woman Falls. That's a very tall one that you can see from the Going to the Sun Road. You also have, as I mentioned, St. Mary Falls, which is a really beautiful blue waterfall. And if you hike beyond that, you can get to Virginia Falls. And even closer than that, a little bit closer to the Going to the Sun Road, is Bering Falls. So you've got 3 waterfalls right there in that area, which are awesome. And then we have, if you get into the Many Glacier area, you can go to Red Rock Falls, which is absolutely gorgeous. I love that hike. We always see wildlife in that area. You can go down to the Two Medicine area of Glacier and go see Twin Falls. You can go to Avalanche Lake on the west side of Glacier. That one has some really big waterfalls dropping down into the lake. So lots and lots of water. You've got some roadside waterfalls along the Going to the Sun Road, like McDonald Falls, Sacred Dancing Cascade, so many. And so this national park really is fantastic for seeing those beautiful waterfalls. Again, you can see quite a few right off the road, maybe with just a short hike. And then there are some other options where if you want to get deeper into Glacier, if you want to really get out of the crowds and get some solitude, there's some great waterfalls deeper in the backcountry that you can see as well. All right, that takes us to park number 6, the last park on my list, and that is Mount Rainier National Park in Washington State. So we're heading right back up to Washington State here. Here's Mount Rainier. It's in the Cascade Mountain Range, and so a little bit more inland than Olympic, but you can easily hit both of these in the same trip. Why do I love Mount Rainier National Park for waterfalls? In this park, I feel like the waterfalls are just like picture perfect. Sometimes like you're just like looking at the waterfall, like how is this even real? I get that feeling in Mount Rainier a lot. So this national park just in general is one of my very favorite national parks. It is awesome for hiking and there's so much you can do. And the big volcano in the middle of the park, Mount Rainier, I mean, it's just crazy cool. But the waterfalls, again, like they're just like picture perfect. So we really love Comet Falls is fantastic. That one does require a longer, harder hike, but it's absolutely worth it. Nice, big, tall waterfall coming off the cliffs. And if you're lucky, if you time it right, you'll get a lot of wildflowers on this hike. Another shorter trail, but with big rewards, is Myrtle Falls. So Myrtle Falls, we like to hit this one as we're doing the Skyline Trail in this park, which perfect. This trail is amazing and you will hit Myrtle Falls towards the end. But if you don't want to do the whole Skyline Trail, then it's just a quick hike to Myrtle Falls and back. And I highly recommend this one. Again, it's just like you're looking at it and Mount Rainier is right in the background and you're like, how is this even real? It's absolutely spectacular. Another one we really like to hike to is Silver Falls. This is a quieter area of Mount Rainier over by Ohanapekosh, and this is a fairly easy hike and you're following along the waterfall the whole way. So it's more of like a cascade waterfall, really powerful, really fun area, and not very many people. And then a couple of really great roadside waterfalls as you're driving from Ashford up to Paradise. You'll hit Narada Falls, you'll hit Christine Falls. And then just as you're driving around the park, you'll see some pretty big waterfalls coming off the mountain itself. And as you're hiking, sometimes you'll see some really cool waterfalls as well that just aren't as much a destination. It's like, oh, there's just like this waterfall over here. We don't even know what it's called, but it's really beautiful. So that happens a lot in Mount Rainier as you're hiking as well. Amazing, right? 6 just incredible national parks that you can go to if you love to chase waterfalls. I have trip planning resources for all of these parks here on my YouTube channel and on dirtinmyshoes.com. So be sure to subscribe if you found this helpful, and I've got lots more national park goodness coming your way. Happy trails.